countdown to the Sun Belt continues. Brant Freeman here with you now alongside the head coach of the men's basketball program, Danny Casper, and we'll look ahead to the Sun Belt for the Bobcats in just a moment. But first, let's kind of talk about how the past couple of months have gone for you, Coach. Introduced as the new head coach of this program back in April. What have you and your staff been up to in the months since then, and what can we expect to see in the lead up to the start of the coming season?
Well, primarily we've been focused on the recruiting. You know, we ended up having more openings than we originally thought, and so we signed 6 players to join this team, and we're very, very happy with the group of players we were able to get in light of, you know, my being hired as late as April 4th. I'm entering my 36th year of coaching, 35 of them at the collegiate level, and I've got to know some people. I'm very pleased with the staff I have. We've kept some continuity by keeping Rob Flaska with us, but we brought in some, you know, I think very able recruiters in the remaining staff that I have. With the resources the school has given me, I think I've been able to hire a good group of young people who can get the job done, both in terms of recruiting and on the floor coaching.
Well, the success that you've had has been predicated really on 2 things primarily, and that is playing very good on the defensive end and being disciplined offensively. What does it take for players to buy into this particular brand of basketball that you want to present?
Well, it really doesn't take a lot once you've had your program established. For example, the players that were coming into SFA these last 5-6 years, you know, saw the success of earlier teams, and your returning players say, hey, this works. But when you start a new program like I'm doing now, where I have not coached any of the 13 kids on scholarship, that's the biggest task, because everybody wants to run and gun and have fun, and opposing coaches are not going to let you do that. And there is a method to success. I see it all the way from the San Antonio Spurs, you know, down to even the high school level, where great defense and good teamwork accounts for a lot of victories and a lot of happy people. As I told the players, you know, there's including walk-ons, there's 16 of you here, and I'm hoping to keep 10 of you happy. But fellas, if we're winning, everybody's happy.
This program will be in its 3rd conference in as many years, certainly all the years in the Southland. As you're familiar with, the WAC this past season for Texas State, and now the Sun Belt Conference coming into the 2013-2014 season. It's a conference that sent 2 teams to the NCAA tournament this past year, 6 teams with winning records. Certainly, we know that some of those teams aren't going to be back, but looking ahead to what you could expect in the first year in the Sun Belt, what are your expectations?
Well, I expect a very tough, you know, league. I think there's some excellent coaches in this league. There's some excellent programs in this league. Western Kentucky has 1 more year, and their record under several coaches speaks for itself. So their administration is doing something right in that all their coaches, various coaches can succeed there. And, you know, the thing that I feel like what we have here is we've got a beautiful university with a greater academic reputation, a great location.
In year 1, are there any specific watermarks that you want to reach, such as points per game scored and allowed, field goal defense percentage? Is there any certain goals you have set in mind specifically for this team?
Well, you know, defensively, I'd like to be the team that, as we did at Stephen F., we basically were always the number 1 in points allowed. And we were usually, you know, top 2 in defensive field goal percentage, and things like assist to turnover ratio and steals and things like that, and defensive rebounding. And I want to continue to be in the top 2 or even the top, being ranked number 1 in those areas. Generally speaking, I always try to tell my kids, if you win 20 games, you're in the running for the conference title, and you're in the running for some kind of postseason play. 20 games is the magic marker. We did that 7 times in 13 years at SFA, and in 2 other years we won 18. When I came to SFA, their program was at a very low watermark. I think their RPI was like 305 out of 315 teams in the country back then, in the year 2000. Now there's about 350. Texas State's RPI was somewhere in like 230, 235. So there's more to work with in coming into a new program than I had at Stephen F. And I'm encouraged by that. You know, people like Joel Wright, you know, Philip Hawkins, and you know, Wes Davis and others, Gordon Ball and others. There's things to work with here. I've got to get them to buy in. I've got to get them in shape. I've got to toughen them up, and get them to realize there's a way to win, and we got to learn that way.
Well, Coach, you're one of the Sun Belt. We're looking forward to what your program can do and looking forward to a trip to New Orleans for the Sun Belt tournament coming up this next March. So for our countdown to the Sun Belt, that's head coach of the basketball program, Danny Casper. I'm Brian Freeman, and that time is coming, July 1st. The Bobcats will be in the Sun Belt Conference.